Hello everyone, I'm Adriza and welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time since I posted anything here, and to be very honest, I started this channel because during COVID I did not have anybody to talk to about the books that I read. I did not have anybody to voice my opinions to about what I'm reading, what I'm not reading, what I'm enjoying, and this is one of those ways of me voicing my opinions to the outside world about what I liked, what I did not like. It was never about reach. It was never about whether people are liking me, whether people are disliking my opinions. It was just about me being comfortable in my own skin and doing my own thing. And life got in the way, and despite having my job commitments and a lot on my plate with my degrees that I'm doing and my tutoring and everything else on earth, I decided, you know what, let's just start again, because at the end of the day it was just for my love of books and also for me to keep this memory of me doing this, so that 20 years down the road I remember what I read and I can go back to it. So before I start, I would say I just bit the bullet and I just picked up the books of Anna Huang. I never thought I'd do it because usually these Instagram famous books are of two kind. Either they are really, really good, or they are just not my cup of tea. They're just not my mug of coffee. They are just not my anything really. And I want nothing to do with them. But this time, every Tom, Dick, and Harry was carrying their Twisted series or their Anna Huang Kings of Sin series. I was seeing my students reading them, and I decided, you know what, let's just read it and let's just see what the hype is about. But before I start reading them, I would like to address the fact that I ordered these books from 99bookstore.com and they sent me these wonderful bookmarks free of cost. This is the first one, which is a Captain America shield. Then this is my favorite. Then we have the Studio Ghibli um, castle kind of a thing. I don't know whether you can see, it's very shiny and it's very sturdy. I was using them while I was reading the books, and these two I will show you them side by side. This one is so pretty with its ravens ravens on the moon and everything else. It reminded me of the Chinese fantasy books that we often read about, especially like Six Crimson Cranes or something along those lines. Is really pretty. And they also send me this thank you note, which says, thank you so much for your order. We hope you have a lovely day and see you again soon. And there's this coupon code which I will use the next time I avail their app. Their app is amazing. It has a range of books starting from manga to self-help, and I highly recommend you check them out. I'll link them down below in case you guys want to check them out. Now, coming to the series, the first book in the series is Twisted Love, in which we follow Ava Chen and Alex Volkov. Ava Chen is this bubbly sunshine character who is so typical, that she's the least favorite character of the entire series of mine. I did not like her character at all, because if you take away her trauma, she has nothing more going on for herself. She has an interesting brother in the first book that we see is Josh Chen. Josh has a best friend called Alex, so we have the trope of brother's best friend going on over here. Josh has to move to South America for his volunteer work as a doctor, so he assigns Alex as Ava's, well, glorified babysitter. Let's be honest about that. Alex is a person who is not even morally gray, he's morally black at the end of the day. He's a billionaire who works in real estate. He made his first millions or billions when he was a teenager, and he has a lot going on for himself. He's lost his parents, he has lost his sibling, he was raised by his uncle. As the name suggests, he's Russian or Ukrainian, either of those two, and he has a lot going on for himself at the end of the day. And the thing about Alex is that he does not smile, he does not show emotions. He is one of the most difficult characters to break through. He is like an ice sculpture crafted by Michelangelo. He's beautiful to look at, but he's also dangerous with the face of a devil, with the mindset of a devil. Sorry, the face of an angel with the mindset of a devil. And Ava goes through. This book actually paves the way for the other 4 books. In this book, we meet the other female main characters, namely Bridget, whom we meet in the second book, Jules, who is Ava's best friend and is an amazing character, and the last female character being Stella Alonso. This is my favorite book in the entire series, and rightly so. It was beautifully written as the first book. It was well written enough for me to pick up the second book. So that says something about the way it was written. Now, coming to the second book is Twisted Games by Anna Huang. Again, here we follow Bridget, who is the princess of a small nation in Europe, and Riz Larson, her bodyguard. This is a very, very, very typical princess and bodyguard trope where forbidden romance, where the princess is not supposed to fall for him. She has to marry into some royalty and take over the crown and everything else that comes along with it. Riz is a very, very, very typical textbook military character. Any book that you have picked, if you have ever picked up any book written by Tessa Bailey having a military, navy, or an air force character, you know they have the typical PTSD. They cannot be in crowded places, they're on high alert, they've seen one of their colleagues dying. All of those textbook traits are in Riz Larson, but he grows on you in a way, he sneaks on you in a way you can never imagine. By the end of the book, I really liked him as a character. Bridget, on the other hand, is also a very textbook princess character who does not want to take the crown. She wants to enjoy her freedom, but she's forced to because her brother Nikolai, whom I actually wanted to read about. So if you guys have any idea whether there is a novella written by Anna Huang or even a fan fiction in AO3, please let me know. Nikolai, he marries somebody else and he cannot take the crown due to political reasons. This was a well written book, but at the end of the day, this is also a very basic book. This is one of those books that you will read about plenty if you take upon any book from Tessa Bailey, or I'm just forgetting all the other authors. But yes, if you pick up any of those books, you will find plenty. And this is not the first time I've written this. I've not read this trope. So I don't know. Like, this is a forbidden romance, but that's all pretty much it is. Next is Twisted Hate, which is one of those books. Now, I'm gonna give an opinion about this book that not many people are gonna like, but this book has my favorite character and my least favorite character in the entire series. My most favorite character in the entire series is Jules Ambrose, is Ava's best friend. And my least favorite character is Alex's best friend, Josh Chen, who's Ava's brother. We meet both of them in the first book and we see there's ample animosity between them. They don't like each other, but they're very similar. They have very similar traits. Like Alex's best friend Josh, or Ava's brother Josh, is cocky, handsome, gorgeous, and he knows it. He's a hotshot doctor. He knows he can get anyone he wants. So does Jules. Jules is beautiful. She's sultry. She's voluptuous. She has this own thing going on. She's a hard worker. She's juggling jobs. She's training for internships at the most prestigious, I think, firm in the city called Silver and Klein. She is doing amazing things for herself despite having trauma. And she is such a strong character that you just can relate to it. You cannot help how much you like her. She's so nice, and the pan in me wanted to take her out for a date and woo her, because at the end of the day, I felt Josh did not deserve her. Josh has his own battles going on. He has his own demons to fight, true, but the way he treated uh, Jules, the amount of groveling he did is, well, I required a little more. I think it was there. This was a typical enemies to lovers romance, but at the end of the day, I don't think the characters were suitable for each other. Yes, their passion was explosive. The way things went on the books was very smooth. There were multiple times I teared up in the book. True, I did not expect that at all. But at the end of the day, I still think that despite the addictive nature of this book, the characters were not meant for each other, or maybe it is just my hatred for Josh Chen talking. Josh Chen is a character that I think he's a man-child who needs to go to therapy extensively and ASAP. Last but not the least, we come to the Twisted Lies book, which is the last book of the series, and here we follow the last character, Stella Alonso, and her wooer, or her Christian Harper. Christian Harper is the character whom we meet first time in the Twisted Games. Twisted Games is where we meet Riss Larson, who is the bodyguard of Bridget, right? Now, Riss works for Harper Securities. Harper Securities is headed by Christian Harper. Christian Harper went to MIT, and he's dangerous and he's charming. He will shake your hand at one moment, the next moment he will destroy your life. Everything that comes along with him is like morally gray, morally black. Everything is good. But at the end of the day, when I read the book, it was all very surface level. There was no depth to his character, which I demand in my male characters. Otherwise, what's the point? He has little use for morals, very little use for love, and the person he's wooing is Stella Alonso. Stella Alonso is a tenant in a building that he owns. She is an influencer who is juggling two jobs, and she has this small, tiny flame of a hope that one day she will launch her own fashion brand, which is saying something great for her. But the best thing that I liked about this book and about Stella is her family dynamic. When you read her family dynamic, you just can't help but relate to it, because the other families all in the books are extremely dysfunctional, but here you have a sister and you have two parents who are present, but they do not acknowledge how well she's doing in life because she followed a path that they never wanted her to. So I get it. I really, really do. And I don't know whether people who are in their teenagers who are reading this book and who shouldn't be reading these books, whether they can relate to it. But as you grow up and you come in your early 20s, you just can't help and relate to Stella in more ways than one. So I get it. I really, really understand that. I highly recommend you check all the trigger warnings for all the books. But I really liked her character. She was a nice character. She was this breath of fresh air after reading so many heavy characters in this series. And I really liked reading Twisted Lies. On the other hand, Christian, I had so high hopes for him, and it destroyed all those hopes. All those hopes. He was a surface level character. I think um, Anna, she tried a lot. She really, really did. But something just fell short for me, and I did not like her. That's on me. A lot of characters I will like, a lot of characters I will not like. But at the end of the day, despite the back of the book saying a lot of stuff about him being a monster and him having only one weakness, which is Stella, and everything else, something just fell short. I really wanted to like this book, but I just didn't. It was a very three-star-ish mesh book that just fell short of something that I was looking for. Now coming to all the books, really, my favorite book, like I mentioned, is the Twisted Love book. And my least favorite book, despite all of these books, will be Twisted Hate. And if I have to rank all of the characters, my favorite male character will be Alex, then comes Riss, Christian, Josh. And if I have to rank all the female characters, they would go something like this. It will be Jules, then Stella, then Bridget, and then Ava. I highly recommend these books in case you want to, because let's be honest, Instagram is hyping these books a lot, and for good reasons. Also because the next books in this series, she has a separate series which goes just after this one, called the Kings of Sin series. I've started those series and I am liking those books. I just started the first books, also I'll come back to you and I'll tell you about those. But I think you should give these books once a while. You should give them a chance. They are nice books. I will not be rereading them. They are nice. They were a good palate cleanser after the amount of books that I was reading. They were fast paced, they were well written, well researched, and maybe you should give them a chance. If I have to give this entire series a rating on 5, I would give them a 4-star. Yeah. So I will meet you in my next video where I'll be talking about the Kings of Sin series. There are 4 books which are out. The 5th book is coming out, I think, sometime this year or early next year, and I'm looking forward to it really. And when I'm done with them, I will definitely come back and let you know how I felt about them. Thank you so much for staying with me, and I'll link everything down below in case you guys want to check out. Bye.